Hey, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, thank you so much for checking me out. Today, I wanted to continue on with our Licks and Tricks series and go over an artist I love greatly, and that's Eric Clapton. Today, I'm mostly going to cover Eric Clapton while he was in Cream. Going to go over the top 5 licks and or tricks that I have ripped from Clapton that I think can be useful to many guitarists out there, just some concepts to pull from. This won't be a full song overview of any kind. I'll just be pulling little tidbits from here and there. Let's get to the lesson. Okay, so like I was saying in the intro, today I wanted to go over 5 of the top cool things I've pulled from Clapton during his time in Cream. First song example here. So the first song by Cream that I think is super awesome, riff that I'm going to pull from, is a Howling Wolf tune, Spoonful, and it goes like this. We're starting off easy here. So this is an E minor kind of vamp. And then he's taken the 3rd fret low E string, our G note, and just giving it like a little pull, just a little tug. And this melody line, if you've heard the song, you're probably singing the word in your head, but Spoonful is the lyric that he sings during this melody line. So to remember this, you can, that spoonful. So it's got a long and some kind of shorter ones. So those short ones kind of the beginning, and then that spoonful kind of sustains it out a little bit. So I think this is an awesome riff, very bluesy, obviously showing his blues inspiration there. But E minor 3rd of E minor. So with that concept, I'm going to take an E note here, the octave of our E string, and go up a minor 3rd. So anytime you have a root and a 3rd, you can do the spoonful riff. I mean, it's obviously a good motif for a solo. So, Spoonful, Howlin' Wolf, check it out. On to the next here. So, this one is no stranger to covers and people using this riff, so I'll keep this one somewhat brief. But this one, Sunshine of Your Love, famously done by Jimi Hendrix, but this was originally a Cream song, I believe originally. Correct me if I'm wrong. So this riff is looks like this. So we're on 12th fret, D string. We're going to go back to the 10th fret. So 12 to 10, back to 12. Then we're going to go up to the 12th fret A string, walk it down. Then we're going to go back to the 12th fret D string, 10th fret G string, 12th fret D string. So he does a few different iterations of this lick, but the first one I think he does like this. There's that little kind of minor 3rd tug again. So that spoonful. But we're doing. So that's one way he does it. 12th fret, back to 10th fret, back to 12th fret. 12, 11, 10 on the A string. 12 D string, 10 G string. Landing back at home, 12th fret D string. And then he does these kind of like stunted chords. We're up here on the 10th fret, low E string now. And you kind of hear this third breaking through. So I believe it's a D major, C major kind of thing. Even though we're doing D minor thing, major minor mix here, it's a blues rock situation, so we're allowed to do that. But anyway, so D, D, C, D. Walks it down again, A flat, G. And this is like a Hendrix thing, but Clapton did this. And he does this a lot. These double stops. So now, how we had D string, G string, D string for that callback response lick. Now we have. So instead of just a single note, now he's hitting G string and B string. Trying something different. Let me know if you think this wider angle is cool. If you want to see my face as I'm talking to you for these lessons, obviously I'll zoom into the guitar when we're needing to do that. But let me know if this is working for you. I'm always open to feedback and criticism, so please let me know in the comments down below. Anyway, so D string, 12th fret, and then we're hitting 10th fret, G and B string. So all together again. Okay? So, and then he's got one more iteration that I think is super cool. Very Hendrix-esque, once again. Fun little story. I'm sure it's been told. Not sure if everyone has heard this. Mostly the demographics of people that watch my videos, I believe, know this story. But apparently there was a story of Jimi Hendrix being brought on stage while Clapton was killing it. This is during Clapton is God era, you know, untouchable Clapton. They bring in this unknown character, Jimi Hendrix. Hey, he wants to jump on stage and jam with you. Obviously the jam goes amazing. Hendrix does his Hendrix thing, kills it. And then I guess Eric Clapton leaves the stage. He's just chain smoking. Can't remember who it was. Maybe their manager goes up to him. Hey man, what's going on? And he's just, you didn't tell me he was good. Talking about Hendrix. So I mean, even someone as good as Clapton, you know, appreciated how good Jimmy was. But obviously, Hendrix was doing covers of Clapton songs, so I think there was a mutual respect there. Anyway, and then one more for Sunshine of Your Love. I know I said I'd keep this one brief, but it's got a lot of riffage in it. So I think that's the most Hendrix of them all. So, same thing before. 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 10, 12. Walk it down. So it's kind of like a throw lick, is what I call it. So he kind of flirts with 12, 12. Same thing on the G and B string. But then comes back to that 10, 10 double stop. And it sounds like sometimes he kind of hits like one note. That's why I say it's kind of a throw lick. He only flirts with those notes for a second. On to the next. Okay, so this next one isn't really a lick, but it is from the song White Room, and I remember hearing this as a young lad and just wondering what this sound was. And what it was is the sound of the wah-wah. So in White Room, it starts off with a lot of keys and just like chorusy sounding deal, somewhere in the key of D minor, I believe. But he does a lot of this wah-wah stuff, which I'm going to slide back over here. All right, so switch angle real quick for the wah-wah. It's down here on my board. You don't really need to see it necessarily, but I just want you to know there's no trickery going on here. I am using my foot to work this thing. So excuse my backside. I know you can't see the frets, but like I said, this isn't exactly a lick. This is just kind of a concept, a sound. So White Room, D minor, but what I want to focus on was the use of the wah-wah. Obviously, this is something you have to own. I'm sure there's good plugins and whatnot for that nowadays, but here's my wah-wah. It's a Dunlop mini wah. Nothing crazy. Goes back and forth. Kind of sounds like someone opening their mouth and closing it. Wow, wow, wow. So the thing I wanted to take from Clapton here is he does this kind of D minor-y thing in White Room. And Clapton was really known for that woman tone, which is kind of like a mid-focused, kind of like a half-cocked wah. So you can kind of find like a good position on the wah. So now I have my foot off the wah-wah, and it's just in like a midway position. And then D minor, I'm just going to do my D minor-y kind of pentatonic licks. So that's one way, you kind of half-cock the wah, get that Clapton woman tone kind of situation. I know he has like a mid-focus knob on his Strat. Obviously, I don't have that, but wah-wah, get a lot of tonal variety. Or you can put it toe side and get that really bitey. That might be a little much, but if you get a little dance between, a little back and forth, rocking with the wah, which he does do in the song. He'll hit a note, heel toe with the wah. Okay, so we won't belabor that one too much because it's a wah-wah. You're going to need an effect for that. But I love Clapton for his use of the wah. If you have a wah, definitely toy with that. If you don't have one, highly recommend checking them out. Maybe one of the most underrated, fun guitar pedals of all time, the wah. All right, moving on to the next. Okay, so this next cream idea, Clapton idea I wanted to bring to you was from the song Strange Brew. I've talked about this in some of my other Licks and Tricks videos, which you can find here. But the way Clapton uses overbends. So we talked about his Howling Wolf tune earlier, Spoonful. Now we're getting into Strange Brew. I feel like he's really nodding his hat, tipping his hat to the overbend king, Albert King. So Strange Brew, kind of A minor, C major territory. So he's in this like A minor-y kind of deal. But that kind of sound right there. And I know I talked about this in my Jimmy Page video. Please feel free to watch that after this one if you haven't already. But the use of overbends is a very vocal thing, but certainly a very guitar-y, very psychedelic thing to do too. I feel like you didn't really hear the overbend too much. Blues obviously was doing it, pushing the envelope, but I feel like psychedelia music is where that really started happening. Jimi Hendrix and all that. But anyway, so Strange Brew. Firmly out of A minor, kind of C major, A minor mixing situation. So a place this is really useful, so I'm at the A note, 10th fret B string, and I'm coming up here to the 13th fret B string, which is my minor third, and I'm bending that guy through the 4th, kind of into the blues note. But as long as you come back to your root, wherever you're bending up to isn't really relevant. As long as you stick the landing like a good gymnast, you're going to be chilling. And why we're in the topic of getting back to your root and really like planting your landing, very Albert King, very Clapton thing to do. So we're at our A note, and this really could go for any root. 10th fret B string, A note. I'm going here to the 8th fret, high E string, up to my minor third of A. A, C. So coming from my minor third up to my root. And Albert King would do the heck out of that lick. And BB, all these guys. So you hit your overbend. And then your third home. So kind of an extra one there, but Albert King, this kind of made me think of it. So strange brew, A minor kind of deal. Hope you enjoyed that one. Overbends, always a fun one. Sound kind of loosey-goosey if you don't have like kind of some speed to it, some ramping. But you know, you'll find the feel that works for you, what sounds great. And please add that to your solos and your play. And this last, but certainly not least riff, maybe one of the most covered songs of all time. Definitely Cream covered this right now. This is a Robert Johnson tune. Whole story around it inside the blues lineage. And this is Crossroads. Maybe you've seen the Ralph Macchio movie. But anyway, Steve Vai. Anyway. All right, so this one needs no introduction really. This one you know. So Crossroads, oh my God, if there was ever like a blues staple every guitarist must know, this isn't much of a must know list, but definitely, oh my God, so much to pull from this. So once again, we're in A major territory, A blues, A major minor, and he's doing this. So A string, and he's down here at the G string. So you kind of got this pedaling. And once again, a minor third of A. There's that minor third again, that spoonful interval. But now in this example, and then, so just like the Sunshine of Your Love riff, there's a few different iterations of this guy. So, single A string, now on the G string, second fret, open. Two, open, two, and open to third fret A string, tug, A note. So it kind of like flips. Open, second, open, third fret A string, open. One more time, nice and slow. A string, down on the G string, second fret, open, second fret, And then we go open, second. So that's like the single note version. And then he does it kind of cool. And I do this kind of hybrid picking, but this is just how my brain works. I don't think Clapton hybrid picks this, but so same thing, A string, but now with my two fingers. You can do this with a pick, I'm sure, but D string and G string, I'm hitting both strings, second fret, open, second fret. So A string, double stop, open, double stop on the second fret, open, double stop, third fret, A string, open. And it always starts with that A string again. Okay, so that's our one chord. Then it goes to this D7 guy. And he kind of does this like syncopated arpeggiating, which is just a fancy way to say just picking through the strings note by note. Then back up to that third fret A and ends that. And it goes back to the one chord. So one whole pass through around here. So here we go. So that's it for my 5 top cool things I think Clapton did inside Cream. So many good tracks there. Jack Bruce, Ginger Baker, those guys were a power trio. It cannot be emphasized enough how much these guys made an impact on rock at the time. Just Disraeli Gears and a few albums. I mean, these guys weren't together a long time, made tons of good tunes. I mean, I didn't cover Born Under a Bad Sign, Badge, I Feel Free. I mean, there's so much to cover here, people. Let me know what your favorite Cream track is down below. And without further ado, let me take you to the outro. Thank you so much for checking out the video today. If you did find it entertaining, educational, or interesting in any way, please feel free to hit like down below, subscribe. I've noticed in the analytics, most of you, 99% something, aren't subscribed. If you're finding this content interesting at all, if you're finding any value in this content at all, I please encourage you to hit subscribe down below. That will help YouTube tell everybody that you are interested in this content, and we can share this channel with many others and keep the steam moving. And on a selfish level, if I'm being completely honest, it's nice to see that people are tuning in. I put a lot of work into these videos, and it's great to know that they're being watched. So once again, I greatly appreciate you being here today, and we'll see you in the next one.